This must be where the coins were made in ancient Rome. Have a look. In ancient times, people used metal coins for money instead of paper. And coins made sense because a coin contained precious metal that people found valuable, like gold or silver. Think of it as $1's worth of gold being melted into $1 coin.
Yeah, sounds good to me. What's the problem?
The problem is that the Roman government decided to make more coins without actually finding more gold. They were turning the same amount of gold into even more coins.
How do you make money out of money?
Exactly the right question. He knows it's not chocolate, right?
All right, coin shavers, break's over. We need more coins than we have gold for. Shave off pieces of these coins and melt them down with other metals.
But if there's less gold in the coins, won't that make them worth less?
We don't pay you to ask questions.
We get paid?
Oh, would you look at the time?
This seems like cheating.
That's because it is, and governments do it all the time.
I understand now. When you cheat to create new money, it makes everyone else's money worth less. Look how much lighter it is.
Exactly. When the money becomes worth less, you need to use more money to buy the same things. That's called inflation. Goggles up? You see, inflation is a monster that starts here in the government mint. And spreads as the devalued money makes its way through households, cities, and entire countries. It's like the monster is stealing from people because the money saved up is now worth less.
This is terrible!
Inflation hurts a nation.
Welcome back to the channel, and we're going to see how inflation is affecting everyday people across America, as if you didn't know already. When the feds raised interest rates, big corporations and the government took advantage of price gouging. Inflation, and things have started to take its toll on consumers as inflation continued to rise. There is no way that 300 million plus Americans can continue on with these outrageous prices, especially since we see a lot of our money going across seas into immigrants. I personally don't have an issue with immigrants, but when you see how the government show immigrants the American way of hospitality by giving priority to them over its citizens, I can see why so many Americans are angry at immigrants. But is the issue really with immigrants? We have to be careful on how and who we direct our frustrations towards. You can hate me later. The immigrants are only doing what the government allows, and they allow the immigrants to come over, hand them money and housing, while the citizens look for relief from the same government that tells its citizens to figure it out by changing their spending habits.
So in case you're not aware, migrants from the poorest countries in the world are entering our country with mysterious large sums of money, and they're overwhelming our small towns. And it's getting worse. And it's coming to your small town too. This is little Charleroi, Pennsylvania. So I came up here to follow up on a report that I did in Springfield, Ohio the week before. After I talked to residents there about their Haitian invasion, a lot of people reached out to me from Pennsylvania. They said, "Nick, it's happening over here too."
However, this video isn't about immigrants, or is it? But back to the topic at hand, inflation. Last I checked, wages are based on the cost of living. The cost of living is so drastic and out of range for most people that millennials are expected to live with their parents throughout their adulthood, and this is with a college degree. So I'm not sure why the government or big corporations aren't expecting a future rebellion towards them. Walmart is already not respected by consumers with the amount of products being shoplifted from their stores. I'm not sure why they are not worried about a mob going in to clean them out completely, as well as other big name department stores and supermarkets alike if something doesn't give. And if big corporations don't know what future possibilities are in store for them, pun intended, then they should go on social media to hear the frustrations of the people. So let's hear what the collectives as a whole are saying.
So you recently went shopping at the grocery store and you spent a bunch of money and then looked in your cart and found it very barren for the money you spent. You filled up your car only to stare in horror at the final number at the pump. You've been hit with a massive rent increase from your landlord, or are desperately praying it doesn't happen as you see how expensive rents are around you. Or you're a young family who went to invest in your first home only to find that even trash properties are far beyond your price range.
I'm broke, nigga, I'm broke!
Why is this happening? It's happening because the US government doesn't give a shit about you. You're a consumer, and you are on the money side of the wealth triangle, which means you primarily work for money and spend money and don't have a lot of capital that you can apply to your life or your financial well-being. Because they took care of the people who had capital. That's why the US government printed more money in the last 2 years than they have in the last several decades combined. This is why they reduced banking regulation, and now banks don't have to hold 10% of the deposits that enter their building, thus allowing them to basically loan money indefinitely. It was to support the capitalist people, the people who actually have capital, which means wealth that they can apply and invest. Because they're the royalty in the American system, and you are the peasant.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
And the people who work from capital aren't going to feel this inflation lift at all. It's all going to be on you. They're not going to feel it because they own the gas station. So when gas goes up, they raise their prices. They make the same money, maybe even a little bit more. They own the grocery store. So again, they're going to be the ones raising prices as basic consumer goods go up in value. And the reason inflation can go crazy like this is that our money is not tethered to any tangible wealth, which was done so we can continue to build capitalism as a forward expanding credit system on the wealth we felt we could create, which means money is ever manipulable. When it goes through a manipulation, well, it's just up to the peasants to burden it until their paychecks catch up. God knows how long that's going to take.
Oh, God. No.
Everything okay, ma'am?
It's just that you've only scanned a few items and it's already $60. I'm so scared.
Okay, I'm a trained professional, ma'am. I've scanned a lot of groceries. I need you to stay with me.
It's just that my in-laws are in town and they want a charcuterie board.
Well, this isn't gonna be easy, so I need you to be brave, all right? What's your name?
Patricia.
Trisha, all right. I need you to take a deep breath. We're about to do the cheese.
Oh my God! The numbers are going up so fast! Why do we have to be a Balderson's house?
Don't look up there. It only makes it worse. Keep your eyes on me, okay?
Can't you just scan something less expensive?
I can, but let's not forget, it's the little things that add up, all right? Now brace yourself. I'm about to do the mixed nuts.
Oh my God, I'm gonna pass out!
Okay, bite down on this, Patricia. Get ready. I'm gonna do the cured meats.
No, stop! I can't do this anymore!
It's too late. There's a line behind you, okay? You're locked in.
I'm not strong enough.
I know it looks like a lot right now, but I promise you, you're gonna get home and you're gonna wonder, what did I even buy? You've got this, Patricia. Get ready. I'm gonna weigh the grapes.
Oh, what have you done to me, you son of
Okay,
a...
your total's $257.84.
Oh, no!
You gotta dig deep. This is the hardest part. Patricia, it's time to pay.
This is why you feel poor when you go to the grocery store, even though inflation is actually down. If you bought this and this in 2020, it's like $10. Now, 15. Why so much if inflation isn't up 50%? It's something called a permanent price adjustment. So even though inflation's come down, it doesn't mean that people who previously raised their prices are also going to decrease prices. In fact, they're probably going to keep them high. So the grocery store is going to continue to punish you even though inflation's gone down. So you're not going crazy, you're paying way more.
How did we go from fighting a revolution over a 2% tax on a breakfast beverage to what we pay today? And we're taxed on money when we receive it, when we spend it, when we keep it, when we invest it, and even when we die with it. It gets worse. We commute to work to make that money in a car that is taxed again to register on roads we're already taxed to build, fueled by gas that is taxed even further, and many times through tolls that tax you again. And that's to maintain bridges and highways and tunnels that already have billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, allocated to them, and they're still falling apart. And then when you get to your office that is taxed to exist, in a corporation that is also taxed to do business, that almost certainly requires permits and other things, which are another tax, you are paid a paycheck that the corporation must match another payroll tax on top of what they have to pay you. Then you go to a home of which you are taxed to own every single year that we bought with money that the government already taxed us on. Oh, by the way, the more money you make and the more you pay in taxes warrants the government taking more and even higher percentages of your money.
Well, goddamn, since you put it that way, if inflation had a theme song, it would be written by Ice Cube. With no Vaseline. If you know, you know.
I can't believe what I read in this article. According to this article on NBC.com, grocery prices are expected to be even higher the remainder of the year. It continues to say that shoppers better start budgeting. That's a warning sign. Groceries skyrocketed by 9.1%. That's almost 10%. That's crazy. These prices can actually stoke food insecurity. And even though we know food is a necessity, what are we doing about these prices, guys? Because they're coming for us. You can help your situation and help combat all of this inflation by having your own business.
Sorry to say, but the holidays won't be the same this year, guys. Hope these stores don't expect a huge profit from October to December. And what do you know, just in time for tax seasons where these companies may be anticipating Christmas to start somewhere around February. But if you owe taxes, then your bad situation have just gotten worse. This presents an entirely new situation, not to mention any other outstanding deductions that's owed out to other agencies.
In 2024, do you ever stop to think about the fact that we are being preyed upon by a parasitic corporate class that keeps raising the prices arbitrarily on goods we need to buy, like eggs and bread, in fact, everything on our grocery list, past the point of inflation, as we keep learning from juries and court documents and bombshell reports and earnings calls by CEOs to their shareholders where they declare record profits. Meanwhile, these same corporations, despite said record profits, don't have the money to raise their employees' paychecks and in fact need to lay off dozens, hundreds, thousands of employees because there is no steeper business cost than human life. So the wealth gap keeps climbing as fewer and fewer people are able to maintain savings accounts, and we're all asked by politicians to anticipate retiring at the age of 70, 75, 80 as the middle class entirely evaporates, and we anticipate in the next few years the emergence of the world's first trillionaire. All the while, a climate crisis is no longer looming at our doorsteps, but is here, burning and flooding its way into our lives. A crisis not primarily driven by individuals and our consumption of plastic straws or trips to the gas pump, but by these same corporate profiteers driving the price up of everything from eggs to streaming services, for whom the consumer is no longer you and me at the checkout counter, but the shareholder who buys, the more the line goes up. Rising prices, rising temperatures, rising retirement age. All the while, our elected officials on either side of the aisle are not interceding on our behalf with any urgency to regulate these companies in the name of the people, to keep prices down, to keep practices fair, to keep monopolies from forming, to keep carbon emissions down, whether it's because these representatives were bought and paid for by said company, or because they don't want to solve the problems with any urgency so that they can still run on these same platforms during the next election cycle. Or they're just bogged down by the same dog and pony show we have to see trending on the news every afternoon. And between an authoritarian bigot actively spewing fascism and an octogenarian tool of corporate complacency, we don't have any major candidates actually promising to come to our aid. Anybody else thinking about that in 2024? Have you checked out the flowers in Antarctica?
You know, there's a place in America right now where Big Mac combo is $18.50. Connecticut McDonald's slammed for charging $18 for a Big Mac meal. Did you guys hear about what just came out with Panera Bread in California?
Yeah. They raised the minimum wage in California to $20 except for bakeries, which Gavin Newsom is a part of.
And he's one of his biggest donors. The CEO is a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Who's at fault there? Is Panera at fault? The politician that can be bought is at fault. Any businessman, if he can get the laws to be in his favor, he's going to hire a lobbyist, and all this stuff is legal. It's not like any of the stuff the Panera Bread guy did is illegal. It's not. So you mean to tell me every other fast food joint with over 100 employees, minimum wage is now $20 an hour. Now with Big Mac, that's $1.99 or $2.99. You want me to pay $6 for a Big Mac?
Welcome to McDonald's. What can I get started for you today?
Yeah, can I just get a cheeseburger?
Okay, is that going to be offered today?
Yeah, it's going to be offered today.
All right, that's going to be $378.19.
Well, actually, I don't need the cheese. You can take the cheese off.
No cheese?
Yeah, let's do no cheese. No cheese.
All right, that brings your total down to $312.17.
That sounds better. That sounds better.
All right, and are you going to be paying in full or will you be financing?
Yeah, I'll be financing today.
Okay.
Let's do the finance.
All right, and after interest, your total will be $61 a month for 6 months.
All right.
First window, please. Thank you.
Subscription, that should fix it. Aw, that's a shame. Have they tried getting a roommate? Maybe eating less avocado toast and expensive lattes? Actually, they should probably cancel their Netflix subscription. That should fix it.
Shrinkflation's not being talked about enough. We've gotten to a point where not only things are like quadruple the price, but they're also giving us half the product. They try to hide it in the most like small, minute ways, but you can always tell. Even if they're just skimming a little bit off the top, they'll do anything to make that extra little bit of profit. Even fast food has cut back so much, I can eat an entire McDonald's cheeseburger in one bite if I really wanted to. Not just the size or the quantity of things, it's also the quality. Restaurants, grocery stores, fast food places, it doesn't matter. Things taste different to me. Vegetables, meat, fruit, everything. There's something about it that just tastes off. Like chicken and beef. It's just disrespectful at this point. They really think we're stupid. And the thing is, I don't know if it's ever going to go back to normal. The fact that they've made record profits fooling people like this and we still buy it because we have to kind of tells me that this is never going to change. If it always comes down to quality or people over price and money being made, they're always going to choose the money being made.
That's right. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
I swear, there was a time where you could go to the store or go to McDonald's with like $3 and feed yourself for at least a day.
I try to be understanding, be an adult about this whole inflation situation, but at this point, they're playing in our fucking faces. So originally, I was seeing stuff go up 20, 50 cents or whatever. But what I really want to talk about is honestly the price of French fries and tater tots more importantly. They were $2.99. Then they went up to $3.29, which was okay. They are now $5.99 in the stores. And I am at my wit's end. I'm finna just...
Yo, this is what $70 gets you at Walmart. Yep, that's it. $70.
So I've been shopping at Aldi for 2 years now, to the point where I did not have awareness of how expensive things were at other stores. What are you talking about? Was $8.25 now $6.89? Like this is some amazing deal. What? The off-brand is $5? I genuinely feel like I need a slap on the wrist because I just left Aldi and I paid $1.19 for a huge box of off-brand Fruit Loops. They don't have any bad dyes in them. They don't have any bad ingredients and they taste amazing. I just looked at the Fruit Loops here, $6.89. I just did the math. That is a 479% price increase. Because I have the privilege of driving 30 minutes to my nearest Aldi, I get to pay 479% less on cereal alone. If you're not in the food desert, you better be grateful.
Yeah, if the rest of America has this German store called Lidl's, which is equivalent to the German store Aldi's, start shopping there. I started hitting both of these stores up heavy. Imagine that. Some foreigners here to help us through this crisis. How ironic.
For Latinos, this election is all about inflation. And that makes sense. Inflation is bad right now. They're going to have to change the name of the game show to The Price is What now? And if your top concern is high prices, I get why you might lean Trump. People associate him with lower prices, even though he sells $400 sneakers that look like my cousin Papo's teeth. The problem is, when it comes to fixing inflation, this cuchifrito-looking motherfucker ain't got shit.
If elected president again, what is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill.
Is your answer to getting inflation down drill, drill, drill? Independent oil?
Well, among other things, it's drill, drill, drill. Yeah,
what else?
It's drill, drill, drill.
What's your answer to
there
getting inflation?
There is no else. You have to get the oil.
Amazing. Well, you heard it here first, me brothers. Trump's one and only plan to fix inflation is to drill for oil. But guess what? President Biden's already drilling more oil than anyone in history. More than Trump ever did when he was president. Now, you know, maybe Trump has discovered some new special drilling technique that no one else knows about. Maybe he drills the oil really hard for 30 seconds and then makes it sign a NDA.
The U.S. government is killing the middle class in this country with inflation, right? Inflation's super stubborn. Prices of everything are high and they're not coming down. In some cases, they're still going up. And the government just spends more money. And you might think like one party is to blame for this. Well, no, it's actually both parties now. Just recently, they passed a $1.3 trillion spending bill. A lot of Republicans voted for this too. So like, this is just incompetence of the highest order. You know, like rich people are doing just fine. They can afford the higher prices. They can afford higher interest rates. They'll get by. But the average person just trying to make it is getting freaking smoked out here. And the government just spends more money. Like you would think they would get it by now. And it's just crazy that they don't.
Y'all, I just paid all my bills for June, and the only thing left on my credit cards is the name and expiration date, and that's almost worn off too. So this is great. This is great. Inflation at its finest. Love this. Y'all remember this when it comes to November, okay?
Is there a sufficient second?
So it's getting to the point where people are choosing groceries or am I paying my bills? That's how much this inflation nonsense has gone to. Like, that's the point of where this is getting to. People are literally choosing between, hey, am I going to pay my auto insurance or am I going to put food on the table this month? It is horrible and it's absolutely disgusting of what exactly is going on. Look, this car insurance rates could jump another 50% in 3 states. And it's Missouri, California, and Minnesota. Guys, I mean, this is just horrible. I mean, really, guys, really, we're going to jump rates again 50%? How does that even make any sense? I mean, seriously, guys, it's really getting to a point where people are either choosing, hey, am I going to pay my auto insurance or am I going to put food on the table for the family? Is my family going to starve or am I going to pay my insurance? It's not fair. It's not fair to the Americans. And something needs to happen. Something needs to happen.
Car insurance. I don't even want to start on that, but I am. I started off paying $124 for full coverage on a 2021 and 2021. Got some quotes in 2023. The cheapest I came across was $535. And you're saying insurance could go up another 50% in 3 states? The biggest scam that they say we must have in some states. I know a lot of people personally that says the hell with insurance. It is what it is. Oh, and by the way, those quotes I was looking at in 2023, I was just looking to see how bad it has gotten since I purchased my 2021. New car buyers and new drivers are going to get hit the hardest.
I saw a post on Facebook about how like groceries have increased in price by 135%. Like somebody ordered some online order at Walmart for groceries and it was like $74. And then in 2024 they ordered the same stuff and it went up by like $100. So here's my thing. Why is it that shit keeps getting more fucking expensive, but people aren't getting paid more? Like, so I live in like Mount Washington Valley in New Hampshire, right? And I go to the Dollar Tree, and I go there a lot because I'm fucking poor, right? And I go there to buy like regular stuff like a strainer or like paper plates. Tell me why there's a lady there who's worked there for like 7 years and she's struggling. She makes $10 an hour, bro. She literally told me, she was like, yeah, I make $10 an hour. Because when she started, it was at like $7 or $8 an hour or some shit. She makes $10 an hour, bro, in 2024. And like, not for nothing, she could go like down the road and work at Dollar General and make like $14 an hour. But still, 2024, people are making that much money. Okay, let's do the math. Let's say her name's Debbie. Debbie makes $10 an hour. She works 40 hours a week, which she doesn't. She works part-time because she's retired. But let's say she works 40 hours a week. That's $400 a week minus taxes you're looking at and insurance. How much are you fucking making? $280, $300? You can't be telling me that people are walking home with a couple $100 a week after working 40 fucking hours? Like, what is this? Is this the Great Depression? Like, what is going on? That means like, okay, let's say she walks home with $300 a week. That's $1,200 a month. Okay, if she lived in an apartment, There aren't even apartments around here for $1,200 a month. Everything's like $2,000 a month or like $1,500 a month. So if she took every single cent that she made, she wouldn't be able to pay for a fucking apartment. Never mind food, gas, other bills. I like can't even understand. And then I make $36 an hour and I have to borrow money from my husband to get gas to get to work every day. Like, so if I can't even live on $36 an hour, how the fuck is she supposed to live at $10 an hour? This is why people have 3 fucking jobs up here. This is why literally Maine, because I work in Maine, everybody's an alcoholic because everybody's stressed as fuck. And like groceries are still getting more expensive. Like a package of chicken is ridiculous. Buying a box of cereal is like $6, bro. I literally went to a store the other day and a box of Cheez-Its was $7. Like there's something fucking wrong. Like they need to pay us more money. Like what the fuck is going on? Like I'm sorry, but shit needs to shift. Like minimum wage needs to shift. Everybody's wages need to shift. I spent $26 on groceries yesterday. I got 3 cobs of corn, 2 cucumbers, 2 small tomatoes, and a thing of milk and pasta. $26 for that. Come on now. That's why I have like 3 different side gigs. I started a digital marketing business hoping I can work from home. I am a travel agent on the side, helping people fucking book their travel fucking shit. I do house cleaning on the side through homeaglow.com, and I work full time, $36 an hour. And I still don't make enough money. Shit needs to change, man. I mean, I'm gonna focus on my business on the side because that's gonna fucking save my ass, but we need to start reevaluating.
So Americans just got some pretty important news about inflation. While inflation has improved significantly overall over the last year, we are still seeing insanely high grocery prices. And this fact in particular shocked me that grocery prices are 25% higher than they were in January of 2020. And the food categories that are perhaps the most essential are the ones being most affected. Beef, chicken, fruits, and vegetables are all still really suffering. And as a result, Americans are spending the largest portion of their paycheck on food in the last 30 years. I knew it was bad, but seeing it written like that is pretty insane to me. And worst of all, there's no solution and no real end in sight.
Oh, hell yes, it's money time, baby. I love obtaining legal tender in exchange for my labor. Oh, rent. That's right. I mean, that really does hurt the old spirit, but I do need to live, so that's fine. I'm glad I at least have some money left. What? Oh, that's right. I also need to buy other things. Well, this really sucks, but you know, at least there's like something left here. Oh no. I totally forgot about that. I mean, do I even like this person $800 worth? I guess I do. Well, I'm losing money, but at least I'm investing in my relationships, right? Oh, dear God. I mean, do I even love my nephew? Like, what has he ever even done for me? All right, fine, I'll get him something, but that's the end of my spending for the month. Oh, damn it. Well, what would my mom even want? She doesn't want her son to be broke, so maybe I don't have to get her anything, right? Fine, I'll get her something. But I'll still have at least my $15 left. Great. This is great. Okay? Well, at least I have $1 left, so maybe I can toss it in the S&P 500. Oh my God, I forgot about that. I mean, do I even need lights?
Groceries are expensive as shit right now. Look at this. Items purchased, exact 30 items purchased in 2022, $70.29. Same items purchased, the same 30 items now, $165. That inflation is unreal. What are we supposed to do nowadays to help our families? This is insane. We need to get control of this, guys. Like, my mind is blown. Like, this is just insane to me. Does anybody else feel like this? Let me know in my comments.
Asset prices spike first in an inflationary time. Then prices for goods and services are the lagging piece of the equation, which is now starting to get out of control across the board. So, you know, for the longest time, many with assets have been excited about the fact that their house has doubled in value, supposedly. And many other asset prices, such as the stock market, have went sky high. But when you now factor in the cost of living, the daily cost of food, insurance, property taxes, all of that is factored in. These are the lagging indicators, which the middle class has been feeling for years now. But now even the wealthy are starting to really feel the effects of the inflation kicking in from a cost of living.
As we bring this video to a close, here's something that I want to share with you. If America collapses, it will be from the inside out. All it takes is the right organization to set things in motion. Things will be worse than January 5th. Although I don't agree with January 5th, but it shows that if everyone in the States is fighting for the same cause, then a change will be forced for the greater good of the people. The government always yelling out, for the good of the American people. That phrase, I think, has no effect and has lost its meaning. And with that said, I'm going to leave you with this. And until next time, peace, and I'm out.
People need to understand before they make any investments, particularly now, is inflation and the impact that inflation is going to have on the decisions that they make on their savings and their investment. Because inflation is probably a bigger threat now than it's ever been. And therefore, it's a even bigger factor. And the reason I think that inflation is a bigger problem now than it's been in the past is because of the fiscal predicament that most of the major governments have put themselves in. And the fact that all politicians, first and foremost, care about themselves and their own political career and their own reelection. That's what they do for a living. They are career politicians. And so what is usually sacrificed by these politicians is the national interest. Doing what's right for the country is secondary to doing what's right for themselves.
We don't have inflation because the people are living too well. We have inflation because the government is living too well.